Welcome. I'm Jessica Lonnie Rich, host of Inspire You and Me. It's an inspirational show where we talk to people who are making a difference. On this week's show, we have Cybercrime Investigator Chris Duque, the Executive Director for the Hawaii Agricultural Foundation, Denise Hayashi Yamaguchi, and the Director of Community Relations for the Hawaiian Humane Society, Daniel Roselle. And be sure to stay tuned for the Animal Lovers Clip of the Week. We'll have all that and more, and we'll be back right after this.
591-4777. Shoot-a-wah. Who's got the best deals in Vegas around? Who's got the best shoot-a-doo? Call 591-4777 today. Vacations Hawaii. Vacations Hawaii. Vacations Hawaii. Good luck, we gon' play. 591-4777 today. Good luck, we gon' play.
We are very fortunate to have as a guest on our show. He is a cybercrime investigator with the Prosecuting Attorney's Office. Please welcome Chris Duque. Welcome, Chris.
Hello.
Aloha. You are so involved in cybercrime. You are the man, so to speak.
Thank you.
Yeah, and all of us in this day and age, you know, if you look at most people, they have their phones, they're connected to the internet. For those people who are not familiar with cybercrime, what are we talking about?
Well, cybercrime is any type of crime that's facilitated or performed with the use of internet or communications technology, like from using a computer, laptop, or your cell phone to communicate with somebody or group of people or entity on the internet.
Let's run down some of the types of cybercrimes that we're talking about.
Well, basically, because of the fact with cybercrime, it's not like the traditional crime where you're upfront and personal with the individuals involved, like the victims and the suspects are distanced, sometimes different parts of the country, different parts of the world. So one thing that's a big obstacle with law enforcement is one, the jurisdictional issues. You know, different jurisdictions, which law will be in place and how we're gonna not only investigate, how we're going to prosecute, and let alone how we're going to identify who these individuals are. So basically, I'm hunting ghosts. You know, when people come to me, they got victimized, and I start my investigation, I got to find out, one, you know, where are they in the world? But I also need to know about what kind, you know, methodology, how did they commit the fraud or the threat or the crime.
You mentioned the word fraud. Now, what we're seeing a lot of in Hawaii is the fraud of people say, hey, you have this beautiful oceanfront, 3-bedroom, 2-bath condo that you can get for only $100 a night or something. But all you have to do is give us a deposit of $5,000 or $10,000 for the month. People wire the money, they get here, no condo, nothing.
I think people fail to realize that nobody rides for free. If somebody's going to offer you a gift, there's some underlying reasons why. And again, to bring in the fact that the internet allows this thin veil of anonymity, you really don't know who you're communicating with.
That's true.
And you know, you trust that the person on the other side is who they claim to be, and their offer is valid.
You mentioned the word trust, Chris. It sounds as if many of the victims do trust the people that they're responding to.
We had scammers and thieves and con artists way before all of the internet technology. It's just that the technology we have today makes it much easier for these fraud and for these schemes to be perpetuated. You want a prize, but then you got to pay a fee to claim the prize.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if you're going to win money, you know, a red flag would be if you got to pay to get the money, there's something, or legal fees, or some kind of terms of transfer of the funds. You need to, any kind of cost to get the money. That's a red flag. For Hawaii, we see big statistics in rental frauds because people come to Hawaii or they plan to vacation Hawaii, they're looking for vacation rental frauds. We have schemes that targets our kapunas, which they're very much, they come from a different era. They're much more trusting. And they end up victims of these scammers. I've seen the rise in romance scams where not only our kapunas but even young people meet their so-called love of their life on the internet, and they trust the individual and they give information, personal information, and now they're out money, lots of money.
Can you give us some advice? How can people prevent being a victim of cybercrime?
Never trust nothing on the internet. Always do your homework. Before even interacting with the individual or parties involved, you do your homework. It's not like when you say you in a flesh and blood world, and we meet. Okay, we have time and space. Okay, I'm sitting here in this studio. You're in me. We're sharing the same space and time. Where on the internet, we don't have the luxury of our five senses to see who we're communicating with. So now before I started, doing my homework, I have to start researching who you are. And that's the key. It's like playing poker. You're not going to show your hand all the time. So what we got to do on the internet is always scrutinize everything you see. Even if it's an email or a telephone call, text message from somebody you believe it to be an associate, like my wife, if she texts me, how I know it's Trish is texting me. Could somebody be using her phone and texting me? And that happens.
Chris, the name of our show is Inspire You and Me. You have led a life of helping the community, of giving 100%, of solving crime. What inspires you?
People, people. Because if it wasn't for the people, I'd be out of a job. Or actually, it's not a job, it's a passion, helping people.
In closing, what else is it about you that you'd like us to know that you haven't already shared with us?
I can't help everybody, but I can try. So just reach out to me if you need, and I can't solve everything, but I'll offer you my ears, and I'll see what I can do. That's about it.
Chris, thank you so much for being a powerhouse in our community, for fighting crime, for devoting your life to cybercrime, and for helping so many people. I wish you continued success.
Thank you.
The law firm of Cronin Freed is proud to sponsor Inspire You and Me, a show about people in our community who are making a difference. I'm Rick Freed, and our law firm of 16 attorneys handles major injury cases, choosing to devote our considerable talent and staff to those injured people and victims for whom we can make a great difference. We hope that you will be inspired to follow your dreams and find your purpose.
We are very excited to have as our special guest on the show. She is the Executive Director of the Hawaii Agricultural Foundation, Denise Hayashi Yamaguchi. Hi, Denise.
Hello.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on your show.
Yeah, I've known you a long time, and I am just so pleased to have the opportunity to sit down with you and talk about all the fascinating things that you are into, because you are definitely a mover and a shaker here in this community. You're involved in so many things. But first, let's talk about the Hawaii Agricultural Foundation. What is it for those people who don't know?
Sure. So the Hawaii Agricultural Foundation was started in 2007, and we actually started as part of the Hawaii Farm Bureau, and it was supposed to be the educational arm of the Farm Bureau. And we basically have three main objectives. One is to help promote agriculture careers in the public schools, because the average age of a farmer today is 60 years of age. And so if we don't start to promote agriculture as a career, we will not have agriculture as an industry. The second thing is to help farmers. We have a 280-acre ag park in Kunia, and basically we service about 20 farmers there, small farmers, and we provide them with land, we provide them with inputs. We're able to provide some workshops for them, and that's the second objective. And the third objective is really community outreach and public awareness. And so we have a bunch of programs like Localicious, and we ask our restaurants to create a dish made with a locally grown, caught or raised product, and that money goes to ag education. But the reason we started it was really to support those restaurants that buy local, because it's more expensive, and it's a conscious effort to buy local. And so that's why we created that program. And we also have another program called Eat, Think, Drink. And Eat, Think, Drink basically was to encourage people to learn more about agricultural and food issues out in the community, and just to give people good information about it.
Denise, you're also the president of the Hawaii Food and Wine Festival. Share with us a little bit about that.
So Hawaii Agricultural Foundation and Hawaii Food and Wine Festival are synergistic. Hawaii Agricultural Foundation actually started the festival, and it was a way for us to raise money for the farmers, ranchers, and fishermen to promote that message of buy local. But in 2012, we separated the two organizations just because Ag Foundation was more about education. With the Hawaii Food and Wine Festival, our objective was, again, to promote our farmers, ranchers, and fishermen and the local products. But it was also started to put a spotlight on Hawaii as a culinary destination, and also to give our young chef talent a spotlight, to put them up in front with the media. And so having those two organizations with a little bit of a different objective was the reason why we split them, but again, they work synergistically.
Now, you use the word chef also to promote our local chefs in the Food and Wine Festival. A lot of people don't know this, but of course your last name is Yamaguchi. You are married to Chef Roy. Mm-hmm. How long have you been married to him? And what a wonderful marriage, literally, because you're involved with food, he's involved with food. How did both of you meet?
So interestingly, so I've met Roy 15 years ago. We've been married 9 years.
Congratulations.
But I met Roy around the same time I met you at Bishop Museum. And I don't know if you recall, because I worked with Jessica at the museum, but I was the VP of Corporate and Public Affairs and in charge of all the fundraising. And we had our annual Bernice Pauahi Bishop Awards dinner, and I was in charge of all the fundraising and the operations for that event. And Roy had been asked by our board chair to be the person in charge of securing all the chefs that were participating, as well as all the food. And so it's kind of interesting that we've put this Food and Wine Festival together, because we actually started an event at Bishop Museum way back then and did pretty much the same thing. We both play the same roles that we do today in the festival.
That's amazing. Denise, you and Chef Roy are two very busy people. How do you find time for each other?
Both of us are very busy, and that's a good thing. I think because both of us are inspired by our work, we're also passionate about our work. It makes it easy, because when he has to work, I'm totally understanding. When I have to work, he's totally understanding. And then we have things in common, like food, wine, and we're home often. We have great kids, and so we're home often. We talk almost every night. We sit down for dinner almost every night, so we find time.
It sounds like you and your husband, Chef Roy Yamaguchi, have found a nice balance between loving what you do and also family is very important to you.
Absolutely. So both, yes. We both love what we do. He's at work by 6 o'clock every morning and home around 3 o'clock, and he cooks dinner most nights. Wow. I would say 3 out of the 5 work days a week he cooks dinner. And my husband kind of likes to do all the home stuff, so I just I'm fortunate. He likes to do the laundry. I don't like to do the laundry, so it makes a nice balance. And then we get to do stuff with the kids together, so it's great.
Do you have any children?
Yeah, I have 5 children, 2 grandchildren, and a little Lhasa Apso named Mika-chan.
Denise, the name of our show is Inspire You and Me. What inspires you?
What really inspires me is excellence, mastery, and hard work. I thought about this, and I'm really inspired by others and what they're able to do. I mean, I look at people who work hard, they master something, and they're excellent for it. So when you look at athletes, you look at movie stars, you look at singers, they didn't get there by hoping they would get there or just by sitting around. They actually worked hard. So that's what really inspires me. When I look at other people and I go, wow, that's pretty cool that they're able to create that dish. I would never be able to create that dish. But it didn't come yesterday. It came because somebody spent hours in that kitchen peeling potatoes for maybe 5 years before they got to be a line cook and then, and then a chef. But it's in everything, and it's everywhere we are. So that's really what inspires me. I think I'm inspired by other people and other people's excellence and mastery.
In closing, what else about Denise would you like us to know that you haven't already shared with us?
One of the things that I would like to encourage people is to go out and, again, support your local farmers, ranchers, and fishermen, and to be aware of that there are some, food is so important to us, and oftentimes we take it for granted. So I think if I was to leave a message with any of your viewers is that, hey, that's another thing that inspires me is our farmers and the people that grow our food, the people that catch our food, the people that raise our food. It's hard work. And so if I haven't been able to share that through what we've talked about, I think that's really important.
That's an awesome message. Denise, congratulations on everything that you're doing. I wish you continued success, and I certainly appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedule to be a guest on Inspire You and Me.
Thank you.
When you feel like Vegas, there's just one place to stay. Grab a drink at the Holo Holo Bar, there's just one place to play. We got a fresh, hot look, a new sports book. We got those local meals, just like Auntie cooks. Aloha spoken here. Bet you find it at the Cow. Look now at thecow.com.
We are very pleased to have as our special guest on the show, he is the Director of Community Relations for the Hawaiian Humane Society, Daniel Rozelle. Welcome, Daniel.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Yes. What is the mission and the purpose of the
Sure.
Hawaiian Humane Society?
So our primary mission is to make life better for animals. To really, especially on the island of Oahu, but also on all the Hawaii Islands. And we do that a lot of different ways. We do that through education, so for children and adults, helping them understand what good pet ownership is. We do that through promoting better laws, better legislation, laws that protect animals, laws that protect them from suffering, from being tethered in inhumane ways. We do this through our fostering programs, through our adoption, so giving homeless animals a new lease on life. We do this through working with homeless community, with the adults who have animals, and trying to connect them with the services and the wellness they need for their pets. We do this through volunteering. So we talk about animals, but really the welfare of animals is dependent on people caring and doing the right things, being good pet owners or being a good society that cares for animals. And that's where we try to work in that space. So.
Definitely. And before I ask you your next question, I have to say I really love the shirt you're wearing.
This is my lucky dog shirt.
What kind of dog is that?
It looks like a Doberman or one of those bulldogs. It's not a poi dog, and I love poi dogs, but it is a dog shirt. So.
Okay, so appropriate for your job too.
Yeah.
You must really love animals to do the job that you're doing.
Animals have given me a lot of good things in my life and companionship, and taught me to be gentle and kind in many ways. And before I moved into this role, I was sort of on the side at night doing the trap, neuter, and release for cats, which is where you trap them, you sterilize them, and then you return and manage the colony so that they have a good life, but they're not having babies outside. And I was doing that, but small scale, right? How much can one person alone do? And then I saw an opportunity open up at the Hawaiian Humane Society. A time of great change, a time of transformation for them and for us, and I saw an opportunity to perhaps do what I loved, which was to help animals, but to do it at scale, right? So to help push for better laws, to help push for better programs for spay-neutering, to make it easier for the people in our community, the cat organizations that really do a lot of the hard work. It's very rewarding. It's very, very different for me in some ways than what I'm used to. You're, I think, a lot more in touch with your emotions in a role like this, just because you have the lives of animals in front of you every day, and you want to see them get into a good home, and you see them when they're happy, when they bound out of the door with a new family, and so it's different for me. but it's immensely rewarding.
About a year and a half ago, I was at the Hawaiian Humane Society visit, and there was a dog there whose owner had passed away,
Right.
and the dog was there. I think this is a subject that a lot of people don't realize, that when an owner passes away, the pet is left alone.
Right, yeah.
And I know that they donate the
Right.
dogs to you, and then you find good homes.
There are cases where animals, where the owners pass away. There are cases where the owners abandon them. There are so many cases where animals need the support of an organization like ours, or many of the other really amazing animal welfare organizations in the community. And there's no sort of one template for how you deal with a case. The right way to do it, I think the humane way to do it, is to look at the animal, understand what their needs are. Sometimes it is as simple as saying, all right, we're going to give you vaccination, we're going to make sure you're spay or neutered, and then you're ready for adoption. Sometimes it's a considerable amount of medical care, dental work, specialized medical care to get them ready for adoption. A lot of that times it involves fostering. So taking maybe a bunch of puppies, a whole litter of puppies that have some kind of skin condition, and making sure that they have a chance by putting them with foster parents until they're well enough to go out for adoption. And it's the whole interconnecting ecosystem that we're part of. And the secret, I think, to getting it right is to really care and to really push for answers, and not sort of just be like, well, what happens, happens. These are lives just like ours. They have souls,
I do know. And people have said, doctors, psychologists have said that for those people who have pets, they make your life less stressful, more loving, and also your life much fuller having a pet.
I think so. I think I always say it's lovely to have a furry creature underfoot, loving on you. And I can speak from my personal experience. I grew up all around the world. I traveled. I seldom stayed in one place very long, and I never had an opportunity to have a pet. And then I was here in Hawaii, and actually I adopted my little cat up the Petco in Baratania, the first pet that I really had, and he taught me so much. He really taught me, he changed me in so many ways, being gentle and dependent. And not all pets are the same, not all cats act the same way, but still there's so much reward that we get from caring for them. And I really wish that there are people on this island who treat animals in a way that is unkind, that is cruel, or treat them like possessions in a way that doesn't take into account the essential soul that these animals have. They're creatures like us, and they may not speak our language, but they have their own communication and their own emotions and their own feelings. They feel pain and hurt and sorrow and loss. And I just wish that all of us in Hawaii would come together to work to defend and protect these animals who really are here because we're here.
The name of our show is Inspire You and Me. Daniel, what inspires you?
What's really inspiring to me right now on a personal level is to see change, to see an organization like the one that I'm involved in, the Hawaiian Humane Society, to see it evolve at a rapid pace, to change, to reinvent itself. The reason that inspires me is because the outcome for the animals is so much better. So many animals have a better chance because humans, us, are willing to say, what are we doing? Are we doing this right? Can we be doing this better? Can we be putting more passion, more intelligence, more resources into this? Can we work with others? Can we really be the kind of organization that Hawaii's animals need us to be? And I think the answer is yes. What inspires me is to see it happening.
In closing, what else would you like us to know about the Hawaiian Humane Society and you?
Well, for me, I'm one of a large group of people, not just at the Humane Society, but throughout this island, working. Many times we're working together now to be part of a change. And I'm grateful for that opportunity. The Humane Society, the Hawaiian Humane Society, is working very hard to become the place that Hawaii's animals and Oahu's animals need, and to do more and change the lives of our animals. And it's not just us, though. It's not just the animal welfare people, and it has to be a community solution. No organization, no group of organizations can do it alone. Neighbors and families, and we all have to look out for these creatures in our lives. They're not disposable. They're not throwaway. They need love. They need care, and we all have to give it. So.
Daniel, thank you so much for being a guest on Inspire You and Me. You are certainly one of the most inspiring people I've ever met, and definitely an animal advocate. Yeah. You are in the right place at the right time.
Mahalo.
I wish you continued success.
Thank you.
Unique, majestic, inspiring. Hawaii's hidden gem on the windward side. Just a short scenic drive will take you to one of the most extraordinary locations in the world. We specialize in conferences, meetings, retreats, business functions, social events, and off-premise catering. Delectable cuisine, stunning panoramic views, and excellence in first-class service. Let Ko'olau Ballrooms and Conference Center make your event a memorable experience.
We hope that you've enjoyed our show this week. I'm going to leave you with a rich thought for the day. Courage is having strength to face difficulty without fear. And sometimes having courage could be something as simple as just asking for what you want in life. Think about it. Until we meet again, I'm Jessica Lonnie Rich. Take care.
My, it's a beautiful world. I like surfing Waikiki. I like to paddle out beyond the white breakers, where a man can still be free, or a woman if you are one. Yes, I do like surfing Waikiki. My, it's a beautiful world. My, it's a beautiful world. Oh, my, it's a beautiful world. My, it's a beautiful world.
The hardest thing in life is letting go of a loved one. Finding the right provider can be essential in your time of need. Celebrate your loved one with Ballard Family Mortuaries. We offer a full range of cremation and burial services on Oahu, Maui, Hilo, and Kona, with professional guidance and specialized attention you can trust at the most affordable cost. Call us today for a free consultation on funeral service options available to you and your family. Ballard Family Mortuary Group, serving Hawaii since 1997.